make me yours. Third promise, my life rests at your feet. Let me be absorbed in your love. Fourth promise, let your will be done. My only desire is you. Fifth promise, every breath, every thought now belongs to your name. Sixth promise, let me forget myself. I want only to remember you. Seventh promise, fill me with so much love, O Lord, that I see only you in this life. When you speak these promises with sincerity, faith, and surrender, the universe itself bends in response. Brahma Muhurta is that sacred window when the barriers between soul and God dissolve. But speak not with the tongue alone, speak with your soul. And when the energy of these 7 promises surrounds you, the next morning will bring a quiet question. Is all this real? Can words whispered in the stillness of Brahma Muhurta truly shift the universe? Or is it simply the yearning of the soul wrapped in imagination? The answer cannot be given. It must be found by entering within. Brahma Muhurta is not merely a time. It is a state, a sacred alignment when the soul communes with God. And this communion is not one-sided. A wave of divine energy flows through the universe in that moment. Every living being, every soul is a part of it. When you speak your words with complete purity and faith during the Brahma Muhurta, that energy begins responding in that very moment. Sometimes the response comes through a person, sometimes through an event, and sometimes quite suddenly through the untangling of a knot within you. Paramahansa Yogananda once said, when you call to God, God does not delay in answering, but you must remain silent to listen. This is the silence born during Brahma Muhurta. It is not merely external, it is also internal. It is a silence where there is no doubt, no desire, only surrender. And that surrender is what invites miracles. Now think about it. When you spoke those words one by one in the first part of this practice, did you feel something beginning to shift within? Perhaps on the first day it felt like just words. On the second day, maybe some emotions were attached. By the third day, perhaps a silence arose. And on the 7th day, no words were left. Only a prayer remained. But this transformation does not happen suddenly. It is a process. Just like when you plant a seed, you water it daily and give it sunlight with patience. The same is true of the practice of Brahma Muhurta, a 7-day journey where you not only speak to God but begin to hear Him. Now here's a secret. When you wake up during the Brahma Muhurta, your brain enters the alpha wave state. In this state, your conscious mind is partially awake and your unconscious mind becomes more receptive. Whatever you speak at that time goes directly into your subconscious, like a seed sinking straight into the soil. That's why, if you speak negatively, you sow seeds of negativity. But if you speak divine words, you establish a sacred bond. This isn't just spiritual, it is backed by neuroscience. When you repeat your words to God daily, your brain begins creating new neural pathways. These reshape your thoughts, your behavior, and your entire perspective. But now the question arises, is speaking alone enough? No. You must also live the words you speak. For example, if you say during Brahma Muhurta, Lord, my only desire is your will, then observe yourself throughout the day. Are you acting with that same surrender, or are you still chasing personal desires? The Brahma Muhurta is not limited to the morning hours. It is only the beginning. You are meant to carry its wave throughout the day. Yogananda said, if you wake up remembering God but forget Him later, the beginning remains incomplete. That's why, during the 7-day meditation, each day is infused with a distinct feeling, a sacred awareness that nurtures you. First day, forgiveness. Second day, surrender. Third day, love. Fourth day, silence. Fifth day, power. Sixth day, bliss. Seventh day, unity. When you connect with a different feeling each day, it transforms from a powerful into a living experience. Now another secret. The one who regularly calls on God's name develops a special field of energy around them, what the sages called tejas. This tejas appears on your face, in your eyes, in your speech. People begin to feel drawn to you. They trust your words. It's not a show. It is the presence of God moving through you. Some might say, we didn't experience anything. That's because the practice of Brahma Muhurta does not yield instant results. It is a sacred field. You first prepare the soil, then sow seeds, then wait, and eventually you harvest. So this 7-day process is only a beginning. If you practice these 7 days with full devotion, by the 8th day, something within you begins to give. Because the true yogi is not the one who asks, but the one who becomes of that divine power. The practice of Brahma Muhurta brings you to the doorway of transformation. But to open that door, you must be ready. So now reflect. Are you ready? Can you embrace the silence in which God speaks? Because God never speaks loudly. He speaks only when you become completely still. And that stillness, that peace, is the greatest blessing. Now that you know what Brahma Muhurta awakens within you, the next step is to carry that power into every part of your day. At the end of the night, when darkness is at its deepest, there is a silent light within you. That is the light of Brahma Muhurta. It is not an external sound. It is the reflection of Brahma itself, gently pulling you back to your true self. But the question remains, will this experience remain confined to the early morning hours? Is this 7-day meditation just a one-time practice, or can it transform your entire life? Here lies the truth. Meditation is not a single practice. It is the art of feeling God's presence in every moment of your existence. Yogananda once said, "A person who talks with God each morning during Brahma Muhurta slowly realizes that God was never silent. He was always speaking. We simply could not hear." That is the success of meditation, not when God is only present in the morning, but when he is present at every moment of life. But how can this experience become permanent? How can this 7-day meditation become the soul of your everyday life? The answer lies in 7 divine steps. These 7 steps are not listed here explicitly, but they are suggested through the lived experience of the practice. Today, see God in every person. Today, recognize God's will in every situation. Step 4, control of emotions. This is perhaps the most crucial step. During Brahma Muhurta, we are immersed in divine love, but as the day progresses, small things begin to disturb us. Now ask yourself, are you a slave to your emotions, or can you maintain your inner peace? The answer always lies in the remembrance of God. Whenever negativity arises, gently remind yourself, this is not my truth. My truth is God. And slowly, a new stability will take root within you. Step 5. Brahma Muhurta is not just a time to speak to God. It is also the sacred hour to listen for his answer. Paramahansa Yogananda once said, if you can talk to God, can God not also talk to you? But to hear him, we must learn to listen to the inner voice. Every day, rise during the Brahma Muhurta. After your prayer, sit quietly with closed eyes. Expect no words, just listen in the silence. Often, answers do not come in spoken form, but as a feeling, a sign, or a gentle wave of peace. Step 6. Remembrance of God throughout the day. To carry the Brahma Muhurta experience into the rest of the day, pause for a few seconds of silence each hour. Whisper within, Lord, I am awake. I am seeing you. I am feeling you. This small act births a continuous awareness within. Step 7. The day is complete only when it ends with God. Before going to sleep at night, say, Lord, today was yours, and tomorrow shall be yours too. I now rest in your lap. When the day begins and ends with God, then life itself starts to reflect divinity. Now pause and ask yourself, was this a 7-day practice or a new direction in life? Those who follow it only for 7 days may gain a beautiful experience, but those who embrace it daily invite transformation. Yogananda said, if you keep calling to God, one day he will answer, and when he does, there is no room left for darkness in life. So now the question is, are you ready to hear that answer from within? Having understood how Brahma Muhurta can become a way of life, we now ask, does this practice exist only in the realm of the mind, or does it also impact our material world? Many believe meditation is a private inner experience, limited to the soul, mind, or emotions. But when practiced with true faith and consistency, it doesn't just influence our inner world, It transforms our actions, relationships, prosperity, health, destiny, and even the events that unfold in our lives. You've heard that you become what you think, but that's only part of the truth. In reality, the way you live in vibration, your internal frequency, is what shapes your outer world. The foundation of Brahma Muhurta practice is to infuse your inner vibration with divine energy, so that the outer world begins to shift naturally. Let us now delve into how this deep meditation practice influences 7 key areas of life. The first is destiny. Some say destiny cannot be changed, but that is only half the truth. There are 2 kinds of destiny, that which is born of the past and that which is created in the present. When you commit to the Brahma Muhurta practice for even 7 days, your thoughts and emotions begin to awaken in the divine presence. These are not mere affirmations. They become energetic vibrations that can alter the subtle effects of past karma. Because energy is greater than fate, and one who rises in Brahma Muhurta learns to govern energy, not be governed by destiny. The second is wealth and prosperity. People often assume that meditation and material success are unrelated. But during Brahma Muhurta, when the mind is still and the heart is turned to God, a deep acceptance emerges. Whatever is meant for me will find me. I do not crave anything, only your guidance. When this feeling arises with full sincerity, your surroundings begin to shift. The energy of your home changes. Supportive people begin to join your efforts. Unexpected opportunities appear, ones that did not arrive even after years of striving. This is the unseen power of Brahma Muhurta meditation, through which prosperity is drawn toward you. The third area is love and harmony in relationships. Today, the deepest suffering often arises from strained relationships, estrangement from parents, conflict with partners, or longing for absent children. But have you ever considered that these outer experiences mirror the inner energy of your thoughts? When you pray during Brahma Muhurta, Lord, whatever has entered my life is your will. Bless me with love and compassion for it. This prayer begins to melt inner resistance. Compassion quietly enters your interactions. Anger softens. Bitterness dissolves. Even those who were distant for years may begin to return, not as a miracle, but through a subtle spiritual process that untangles the knots within the heart. The fourth area is health and the body. Spiritual practice does not mean the body should be neglected. Rather, the body becomes the very temple of that practice. Brahma Muhurta aligns with the body's natural rhythms. Its biological clock reaches peak balance at this time. Meditation, breath control, and positive emotion practiced in these hours help correct physical imbalances. Even science affirms that during Brahma Muhurta, hormones like melatonin and serotonin are released, enhancing immunity and uplifting the mind. But there's a deeper mystery. When the same divine words are repeated every morning with sincerity, they begin to imprint on your DNA. The body then becomes not just healthy, but radiant. The fifth area is karma and decision-making. The course of your life is determined by your choices, and your choices by the clarity of your consciousness. When you rise during Brahma Muhurta, your mind is free of illusion. Thoughts formed in these moments are the most refined and truthful. When you consistently present your life's questions to God during this sacred hour, answers begin to rise from within, from the same depth. Your decisions are no longer made just with logic, but with soul awareness. You stop trying to control life and instead surrender it to divine will. The sixth area is time. Many say they want to meditate, but they don't have time. Yet those who begin their day with God during Brahma Muhurta often feel as if they've been gifted more time. This is a mystery. The more aligned you are with divine presence, the more efficient and light your day becomes. People who do this practice for even 7 days report that they no longer feel rushed. Time itself seems to stretch and tasks are completed without stress. The seventh area is the direction of life. Perhaps the most profound transformation lies in life's direction. One of humanity's greatest illusions is the confusion of purpose. People chase wealth, relationships, or status, often without knowing why. But regular meditation during Brahma Muhurta unveils a hidden map. It points toward a path meant only for you, not given by any guru or scripture, but revealed by your own soul when it is surrendered to God. This path becomes the true purpose for which you were born. So now ask again, was this meditation just repetition of words? Was it merely a technique? Or was it an invisible doorway, slowly opening into a realm where life begins to unfold as God intended? When this meditation becomes a constant way of being, life itself transforms into a divine experience, where every breath, every moment becomes a living prayer. So far you have seen how the 7-day Brahma Muhurta practice is not just a spiritual habit, it is a living bridge. It connects man to the soul to the cosmos, and the cosmos to the sacred silence behind all things. But the question is, was it just a 7-day meditation, or was it a seed now destined to bloom into life itself? This is the ultimate secret of meditation. When the seeker no longer merely practices meditation, but becomes a meditator in essence. Now we move toward that final step, where the 7 days of Brahma Muhurta are no longer just a routine or a discipline. This is the sacred revelation, when the seeker does not meditate but becomes meditation itself. When meditation is no longer something you do, but something you are. When the seeker no longer meditates but becomes a meditator, the shift is complete. When the seeker no longer meditates but becomes a meditator, the transformation begins. When the seeker no longer meditates but becomes a meditator, the soul begins to glow from within. When the seeker no longer meditates but becomes a meditator, then meditation stops being a practice and becomes your nature. After 7 days of Brahma Muhurta, a true seeker comes to realize that meditation is not a task, but a state of being. Now, when he speaks with someone, he does so in silence. When he eats, he does so with gratitude. When he walks, every step is at the feet of God. Life itself becomes an act of worship. Every task becomes an offering of devotion. And all this begins with one promise made again and again in the quiet hours of those 7 mornings. The fear of death dissolves. One who has touched the soul, who has seen the light within, who communes with the divine each day, no longer fears death, because for him death is no longer an end. It becomes a doorway to return home. In Brahma Muhurta, when you whisper to your heart each morning, I am not, only you are, it marks the beginning of the end of ego. And where the ego ends, the fear of death disappears. Life is no longer a cycle of arrivals and departures, but a wave where soul, body, and Brahma hum in the same divine rhythm. The inner questions fade. At times during meditation, many questions rise within us. Why am I here? Is my path right? Does God hear me? But in the quiet persistence of 7 days, each question falls away one by one. No answers are needed. No desires remain. Only silence remains. A silence that says everything without speaking a word. Only those who do not test meditation but love it without conditions are given this experience. After the 7th day, when you awaken again in that sacred hour, something inside has changed. You no longer ask for anything. You no longer seek happiness, comfort, evidence, or power from God. There remains only one prayer. O Lord, do not give me anything. Just allow me to belong to you. To be yours is all I seek. And from this point onward, meditation becomes a mystery. Impossible to explain, yet deeply known. You no longer merely live your life. You surrender it wholly to the divine. You are no longer a seeker, but a witness. You watch each emotion rise and pass. Each thought appear and dissolve, like clouds drifting across a vast open sky. Nothing is yours now. Not thought, not body, not even identity. Everything is God's play, and you are the silent witness. In this witnessing, you discover true liberation. This is the final state, the state in which Buddha remained silent, Kabir smiled, and Mira danced. These are the 7 mysteries of meditation: surrender, determination, continuity, emotion, silence, love, light, and endurance. With discipline, with Brahma Muhurta, with devotion, and with unwavering faith. Dear seeker, if you have reached this point, then this is no longer just a video or a story. It has become your inner pilgrimage. Every word, every emotion, every silence now belongs to you. This is the moment where words come to an end and pure experience begins. Now the choice is yours. Will you leave this experience here as it is, or will you carry it into your life, allowing it to become a new beginning? This was not a transmission of mere information. It was an invitation to recognize the divine within you, to awaken the immense power that resides in your core, and to descend into that silence where you and the divine become one. Everything we expressed was merely a gesture, a pointer towards that inner journey which now begins within you. Even your silence has now become our shared language. You have offered your time, your energy, and above all your innermost self to this offering. For this, we offer you our heartfelt gratitude. It is awakened seekers like you who become the true sources of light in this world. Thank you, and may your day, your life, and your awakening be divine and auspicious. The world is sleeping now. When silence reaches its deepest point, certain souls begin to awaken. Brahma Muhurta is the sacred moment when the doors to the divine open when the soul is nearest to its source. This is not an ordinary time. It is the gateway through which your consciousness can unite with Brahma. Paramahansa Yogananda said, if you rise during Brahma Muhurta and speak to God in silent love, saying, O Lord,
turn inward before going out into the world. The more you stabilize your inner energy, the more antibacterial the field around you becomes naturally. 2. Breathe when disturbed, instead of reacting. When you are hurt by someone, when you feel upset, come back to your breath immediately. Don't think, don't argue, don't fight. Just breathe, long, deep, conscious. Just a few breaths, and you will extinguish the unconscious impulse and preserve your aura. 3. Keep your energy boundaries. Know who to engage with and when to withdraw. Magnetism is not just about attraction, it is also about selection. You have the right to turn off your phone, not answer, walk away from a disturbing conversation without feeling guilty. True spirituality is not about carrying everything, it is about protecting the light within. Yogananda. 4. Cleanse your mind every night, like an energy bath. Before bed, take 3 to 5 minutes to breathe in, I receive the light of God. Breathe out, I release all emotions that are not mine. Feel a stream of light flowing through your body, washing away all the energy residue. You will sleep more deeply, and the next morning, your magnetic field will feel renewed. 5. Surround yourself with spirits who lift you up, and be the one who lifts others up. No one can be spiritual alone. We need circles of resonance, kindred spirits. Find places, people, spaces that make you want to live deeply, truly, and cleanly. And if you haven't found someone like that, be that person. Link, activate the attraction of the pure soul within you. Magnetism doesn't come from technique. It doesn't come from trying to become a better version of yourself. It comes when you strip away all the layers that are not you. It comes when you remember that you have always been the light. You don't need to learn to attract everything you want. You just need to become the person to whom all good things are attracted. 3 affirmations to remember and repeat every day. I don't need to chase after the light, I am the light. I am not someone who wants to be magnetic, I am the pure magnetism of my soul. I don't need to try to be loved, I am loving the world by being present. Spiritual prayer. O Supreme God, please let me remember that everything I need is already within me. Please awaken to the light within, and become someone who illuminates the world by my quiet and sincere presence. Om Shanti. Namaste. May you live from the purest magnetism of your soul. Turn inward before going out into the world. Advertising. It doesn't need a spotlight. It is the vibration of someone who has become themselves, not fake, not forced, not needing to be recognized. Yogananda calls it divine magnetism. This is not the attraction you see in popular culture. This is the attraction of the soul returning to its original frequency, the frequency of light, love, and silence. What is magnetism? It's not just an external attraction, it's a state of consciousness. According to Paramahansa